investor was in. And I was very young. By the way, that's okay. I was 31 years old. Okay, now I'm 48 years. When I look back, I just said, you know what? I didn't realize it takes, you should have that X factor. And that X factor, by the way, you are not born with it. Problems, they bring out the X factor in you. Me, I said, one of the things I've refused in my life, I said, you will not take me back to Chawama. No. If I go back to Chawama, I'll go and transform Chawama to the way I want Chawama to be. That is what my principle is. I said, look, I went to Chawama Primary School. But if we go back, when I become so rich, I should be able to say, you know what, let me go to Chawama Primary School. Let me upgrade it to a high school. Let me build it to the way what I've become now. That is the kind of business sector we want. I mean, business people want. So I think we should have that thing where you look at yourself. I looked at our example. When in the 90s, I used to read a lot about Bill Gates. He wrote a book called The Speed of Light and The Speed of Light. For me, it's not only about young people, by the way. I've got a lot of my friends who are very scared. They are so scared to leave work. When you tell him, can you resign today? My God. No, I'm not going anywhere. I said, look, leave it, okay. Are you saying that God created you just to be a junior manager for the rest of your life? Is that what you're saying, that that's your purpose in life? No, you're just scared. So I think let's start from there.
It brought us to that same transition in its own. You getting to leave, workplace and establish your own outfit. What was that like? Did you have some fear as well when you're doing this?
Yes, in fact, first of all, it's that's why I even said it takes guts. First of all, it's very scary. Entrepreneurship is very scary. And you suffer a lot, by the way. Because when I started, for example, first of all, I resigned from the company. Then I went to stay at home. Then there was that seminar which I went to attend. Then those guys gave me conditions, you need to do this, whatever. But ultimately, anyway, I convinced them. I said, you know what? You have to send capital. And they said, can you imagine? They called me, says, Abel, we're about to send $80,000 into your account because we are starting a company. And they told me a company starts with individuals. It's not a building. So you and us, we are partners now. So the first thing we should do is the first step of trust. We are going to transfer $80,000 into your account, and you should start the registration of company. Registry, you go to Pakra, whatever, things you do, all the paperwork. You'll be jumping into a taxi, a minibus. I went through all that. Afterwards, do you know that they never came for 3 months? We used to talk on phone, and I had $80,000 into my account. They even told me, if you want, you can eat it. Block us, run away. Okay? So that was the first trial for me, to say, you know what? Go ahead and do it. After 3 months, they came back. They found out of $80,000, I'd only utilized $700. And they found that I was not using a taxi, I was using a minibus. I would go with Kafai or Pakra, Naikrapalia, I'll run like that. And I did all that. They told me, says, you have passed the first stage. You have registered the company, everything. In fact, no, before that, they asked me, the company we are registering, what should be the name? As we are UWP Consulting of South Africa. So I said, no, just say UWP Zambia. He says, what about you? They asked me, are you not our partner? I said, yes, I'm good, Zambia. He said, no. What about you? Where do you take responsibility? So they say, why don't we name it Ngandu UWP? I said, no, don't use Ngandu. Because Zambians don't like a Zambian name. You know, they will rise from, I know what they will do to me. They will not give us a project, I know, just because of Ngandu. He says, no. We want your name to be associated because the stakes are high. This is about you. You have to change the narrative in your country. So we are going to name it Ngandu UWP. And that's how it was done. And they say, make it happen. Fast forward, I was with the UWP for 6.5 years. From $80,000, I remember we had left in the bank, there was $2.5 million. That was the time we are about to separate with UWP. There was $2.5 million and managed by engineer Abel Ngandu, a young man from Chawama. He managed to do that. Even when we were separating, we were separating very good terms. They went away, I also went away, and I separated. I said, I want to form my own company, run by Zambians. Okay, and that is where I co-opted other Zambians who were equally scared, by the way. But I told them, I said, can you resign from UWP? Come and join me. Some were still hanging on. I said, you remain behind. But me, I'll tell you, very soon, I'll start driving a Range Rover. After we formed that company, it took me 6 months. I said, you know what, in Zambia here, if you drive a Corolla, they don't take you serious. So if you have to earn it so that I maintain the same status I had obtained under Ngandu UWP, now it's Ngandu Consulting, let me buy a tool, which for Zambian standards will look at me to say, you know what, he's still doing fine. So that's when now I went and said, you know what, I bought a Range Rover Sport. I bought it. The reason why I bought it, I knew the culture of Zambia at that time. Zambians don't believe you until there's a sign. So I said, okay, let me put it there. So that's how we did it.
Which me takes me to my next question. So would you say making such a decision was an investment? Because we have young people here,
yeah.
You know what you want to do with this money, but then you're thinking, okay, maybe I should improve my lifestyle a little bit so that I'm able to attract more clients and more projects for myself. So would you consider that as an investment? Maybe you want to go and buy a new suit when you can use that money for something else. Yes. So would you say that is an investment?
Yes. First of all, okay, I want to say another important factor in the journey of an entrepreneur. You need networking. Okay, your network is your net worth. If you're not connected, that's a fact. That's why I was even saying in my preamble, I said, don't hide. So you need to be connected very well. The second thing, you need to understand your business. How does it work? You need even to understand the culture of people around. Because me, I realized, at first, okay, I bought a Mark II. Okay, very few, except when I go to Chawama, they recognize, Mark II is nice. You know, at that time. I'm not saying Mark II is a bad thing. Or even this time, like Arios, whatever, all those things, Arion, you know. But now, I've driven good cars. When I go, for example, in a VX, you feel it. You said, look, there was a difference. This is not a Mark II, no. This is different. But at that time, those are humble beginnings. But I realized, I said, look, how do I make myself reach there? I met one Zambian, I won't mention his name. He was doing fine at that time. I made him my friend. So one time, he gave me a lift. I'd gone, packed my Mark II, then I jumped into the Range Rover. Then he said, let's just go. It was just a short ride. What I experienced there, I said, look, there's a difference. Then I asked him, first, how did you? He said, no, but you have to work hard. That's when I said, look, please, Mark II here. I'm not going back. I want this car. Then I worked for it until I achieved it. But what did when I tell you my journey, for example, at Ngandu Consulting, I formed it. When I formed it, was it an easy ride? No. How did the system accept it? First of all, my clients with government. There were some engineers on the other side who were opposing my rise. You know, you tender for a job, they'll give it to a foreigner. They leave you out. And they're even happy. No, you will see, we'll set an example for him, you'll see. He's going nowhere. But me, I said, no ways. I'm not going to give up. But what I used to do, the moment I saw that, I would approach them in their offices. I said, you are very short-sighted. You don't know what you're talking about. And you think you can control me because you're an employee of this institution? No, you're lying. I'll go to the minister. But minister, I tendered for these jobs. I qualify. They gave it to a foreigner. What is this? The minister would pick a call. Says, next time I'll make sure they investigate that because we are not going to undermine Zambians if they qualify. And you know what I'm trying to say? You have to have a fighting spirit. Until next time, the engineer was blocking me, fired. And I even called him performance. Says, you know, but the same guy, fast forward, do you know that that engineer is my best friend? We made up, and he told me, he says, you know, Abel, when you told me, I never got what you are saying. But now I'm saying. Because when he went into the private sector, he realized he wanted to tender also. Then he started struggling. I said, you created that bad seed. You planted that bad seed there. But I can tell you over time, both from the government side, the engineers, their attitude changed. They started now doing pro-Zambians. Because, you know, you have to be a very proactive person for you to, it can be any business. If I say, okay, for us, we deal with RDA, Ministry of Local Government, and what, you have to go there, you have to convince them. And even when they give you a project, do it right. Remember, afterward, in fact, when we are having those challenges of maybe from the other side, they are not giving us project. You know what I decided? I told my partners, why don't we invest in Rwanda, in East Africa? I want us to invest in Rwanda. There was a Zambian who was in Rwanda there. We contacted him. We moved in there. The rest is history. We set up Ngandu Consulting Rwanda Limited. What did we do in Rwanda? The reason why we did it in Rwanda, we followed one of Warren Buffett's principles, which is a very common saying. Don't put all the eggs in one basket. So we said, let's invest in Rwanda. In Rwanda, we went there. Opportunities were created. We built a stadium. We built a college, university college. We did roads. We did whatever. You go to Rwanda right now. Ngandu Consulting Rwanda is a household name in Rwanda. We've got a company there, offices. We are doing World Bank projects right now. We are developing, for example, we are doing a project developing infrastructure in 6 secondary cities for Rwanda, for Kigali. So that is how far we have gone. We own shares there in Rwanda. We own 90% shares. 10% is owned by Rwandese. He's not even an engineer or partner, but a very good businessman. We employed all Rwandese there. And you know what? I go there every month. It's only that COVID, maybe I haven't been going, but we normally go there every month. We send engineers to go to Rwanda there. That is, the next thing we did, we went to South Sudan. South Sudan, you can imagine. We reached there in South Sudan. Hey, no, there's war, what? We reached, registered. We've got a partner there, Sebet. Okay, we've got works there in South Sudan. And this is, what does it mean? In South Sudan, there's Ngandu from Northern Province. It's there. Ngandu Consulting, South Sudan. Ngandu Consulting, Rwanda Limited. Okay, that is what we want. That is the kind of guts we want. And you know why we're able to succeed there? Because we are doing the right thing. First of all, one, we utilize highly trained Zambian engineers. Then we trained some Rwandese engineers there. They started now knowing the way we do things. So don't tell me to say a Zambian can only succeed in Zambia or in Chawaba. No.
So what's your message to a Rwandan consulting company who is saying, why aren't you giving us these jobs as well here?
You know, first of all, I'll tell you, when we went to Rwanda is a very interesting country. First of all, it's very developed. You know, they are very organized as well. But when we went there to register, the first thing they asked me, a question, they say, okay, you want to register a company. Where is the Rwandan partner? Here, you can be a foreigner, you go to Pakra, they just give you the forms. A Zambian is the one even typing with you. You give him a 3P note. No, please, I know whatever. Within 3 days, you have registered. It shouldn't be like that. This country, I'll tell you, Me, I'm an entrepreneur. The problem with Zambia right now is most of the investors, most of the money is in foreign hands. Okay? You've seen the government has brought policy 20% to Zambians, they're trying to reverse that. But all of us, we should be proactive. Me, I'll tell you, I want to see buildings, massive infrastructure in the coming, like even this Quorum. It's owned by Zambia. I know him, Mr. Raj Patel. Okay? This Quorum building, it was built by Zambia. But we want to see more black Zambians owning properties like this in partnership and whatever. The man who owns this, he inspires me. He's a member of Association of Consulting Engineers, where I'm the president, by the way. So even young people, they shouldn't be scared. I've seen somebody build a small house. He's even putting it by Facebook. This is my house. And what we want to see that when you're coming there, you're showing the Quorum. He says, you know what, this is an investment of $20 million, $30 million. This is owned by Zambians. That is what we want. And I'll tell you before even I retire, that is the direction I'm going.
Nice. So far, you've brought up one main thing in terms of the challenges. I think the idea of competing with foreigners and maybe Zambians getting more opportunities, if we can put it that way. What other challenges have you experienced in entrepreneurship so far, apart from that?
For example, source of funding. Okay? The biggest challenge that we have in this country is source of funding. If you go to the bank, by the way, I was a board chairman myself. If you go to the bank, they want collateral. Okay? And the second thing, which is very bad about our country, which we need to change, Zambians don't pay back loans. When you get somebody's money, you even block my number. I've got a lot of people. I call him, he's even insulting me. I said, you came to me for assistance. I give you the money. You said you are borrowing. I lend you the money. You block me. When I meet him, he's even driving away. I said, look, you're just cheating yourself. I'll write off that loan. But you never come back to me again. So Zambians, at first thing, what we should do is, we should have this attitude of paying back. This is a cultural problem. Generally, Zambians, when you take somebody's money, you don't want to be accountable. That's a very bad way. I'm happy I'm not that Zambian. You can go to any bank we bank with. No wonder I became even a board chairman of a bank. Because my life in terms of finances are there to be seen by anybody. Our company, when we get a loan, we pay back. When we had invested, there's another company, by the way, I own Ngandu Consulting, but there's another company called ALD Plant and Fleet Management. We borrowed from Development Bank of Zambia, millions of dollars. We've paid back. Our equipment is there. We are utilizing it now. We are setting up a crushing plant and all that in Kafue there. But it takes time. It has taken us maybe 5 years to pay back. But we've been paying. And the payment is not in thousands, it's in millions of kwacha. Every 2 months, you're paying that money. But you have to be disciplined. So I think I want to tell them to say, look, if you want to be an entrepreneur, number one, be a serious person. It's not for faint-hearted. Okay? I mean, I've received phone calls as an entrepreneur where the bank tells you, tomorrow we are coming to grab your house. Because you used it as collateral. Then you know what you do? You don't block the phone. The following day, I go there, I meet the manager. Then I explain to him, look, this is our cash flow. This is what is happening. Look, there has been a delay. Just give us 1 month. Within a month, I tell them, okay, give me this demand letter. I take it to my client. So on the demand letter now, I go to the client. I said, look, you are the one 10 years ago, you supported me to be an entrepreneur. Support me. Can you pay me this? No, the problem is Minister of Finance. You go to Minister of Finance. You can't meet Minister of Finance. You argue. They just say, okay, Abel will help you. We can't allow these guys, this business must go on. You know what happens? Phone calls. Pay him. They pay, you go to the bank, you pay off the debts. You find even the bank manager is even excited because he wants you to succeed. But you know what Zambians do? He's owing the bank. He blocks the line from the bank. He's not going there until the next thing they foreclose on his property and whatever. And that's a common story. So when you are an entrepreneur, first of all, you should have integrity. Tell the truth. Face the problem. Me, I've faced the problem where I go there, I argue myself. Sometimes I even trigger, patriotism. I tell the other guy, I said, the only reason you want to grab my property is because of delayed payment, not because I don't have the ability to pay. If you have allowed maybe white people, they are given opportunities, foreigners, why can't you give me? Why don't you restructure the loan? Okay? And you find when you argue, say, we'll take it to the board. Come back, oh, they have approved. And fast forward, have we managed to, along the way, to pay off? Yes, we've paid off. Have we acquired? Have we grown? Yes, we have grown. But what has caused that? Another point which I want to say, when you are entrepreneurs, you should learn to partner. I'm not alone, by the way. I've got other partners. There's David Mwale. There's Lee Yungu. Me, I'm from Northern Province. David Mwale from Eastern Province. Lee Yungu is from Western Province. I don't care where you come from. Let's just have the same thought process, the same vision and all that. But in any entrepreneurs, there should be a leader. So me, I make sure, I said, I've got the vision. And I lay out, I said, this is where we are going. And I'll argue my case to the other partner so they understand my vision. They buy into it. So now, as we work, we are going into the same direction. So I can tell you, is there opportunities for Zambian entrepreneurs? Yes. You guys, can you grow? Yes, you can grow. Look at the startup, the startup grind. There's a lot of, in the United States, there's a lot of talk show hosts. Look at Oprah. This is the same concept. Where is Oprah? She's a billionaire. From talking. Then you should come and tell me to say, you will not make it? No. So for me, I've gone to Rwanda, I've gone to South Sudan, and what's next? The sky is the limit. And we can do joint ventures even in South Africa, whatever. We can do any infrastructure project in South Africa, even here in Zambia. But in Zambia, there's a lot of potential. So that's what we are looking for.
You've also, you're an award winner in yourself, won an award in Europe. What was that like for you?
No, look, it was very good. First of all, in Europe, they do this, what you call quality. Okay? They look for companies which conform to certain quality. When you run a consulting firm or any company, there's a certain way you should be delivering products to ensure that you don't make mistakes and all that. So there's what we call ISO certification, okay, where you do quality standards. So you find that in your company, you should follow a certain quality procedure that you do in order for the clients to get value for money. So we participated in this European, we said, okay, fine, this is our company, this is what we do, we submitted projects and all that. They looked at it, they says, it's not the size of the company that matters. It's the dedication to quality. And that's how they invited us. And we went and we were awarded. I was very proud. And we also were awarded in New York, And you know what it gave me? It gave me exposure. Because we are sitting with some of the biggest names in the industry, like the Ambani Reliance Group. They were also awarded by those people. And that's when I realized, I said, you know what? I went there to get that award. When I saw it, it was inspirational to me. For me, I said, you know what? If you are recognized outside, then you should be recognized in Zambia. By the way, even in Zambia, we won an award. We were the best consulting firm in 2009 by NCC. We designed, people don't know, in the Lake Bangweuru, Chilubi Island. We designed and fabricated a floating bridge. It's the only floating bridge in the country, by the way. It floats. It rises with water levels. But if you've seen, that's one of the things, in fact, we want to be documented engineering success stories for Zambians. Because what you see in newspaper is just engineers this, Zambians this, but there's good stories also.
Let's briefly talk about, before we get to engage the audience, let's also talk about you managing different positions. We've already established that you're the EIZ president, you're obviously managing director at your consultancy firm, board chairman for UBA. How are you managing to strike a balance with these three roles here, among the other things that you do as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, first of all, as a person, you have to be organized. You have to, it's all about time management, okay? You have to look at your calendar. You look at your calendar, you look at your diary. You have to make sure you diarize everything that you do. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you just hear you're seated, oh, UBA, they're calling you. Then you are seated tomorrow, and by the way, I'm the outgoing board chairman for UBA. I'm the board member in Zambia Railways. I'm the president of Association of Consulting Engineers, and I was recently elected president of the Engineering Institution of Zambia. So what I do is I just organize myself. One of the biggest problems that I see, and I'm mentioning that problem so that I can challenge young people. Generally, Zambian young people, they don't plan things. If you ask, even now, you ask somebody in the audience, what are you going to do tomorrow? You say, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. So now, you see, when you don't have a personal plan as a person, then there's a problem. You know, we should be planning. And when we say this thing to say December, end of December, you should be reflecting, what are your resolutions for next year? People don't take it. Me, I've seen it. January comes in, business as usual. You ask a guy, so 2021, same thing the 2020 years. Now, how can you progress? As a person, you're supposed to say, no, 2021, first, what did I learn from? There was COVID. How did it impact on our business? Me, those things are already in my mind. Okay, now I've become a board chairman I've become EIZ president. What is it I want to do in EIZ? What am I going to, personally, me as engineer Abel Ngandu, as an entrepreneur, as an engineer, as a consultant, what value am I going to add to EIZ? As a person, what kind of value so that when I go, I can leave a legacy? Those are the things which concerns me. Zambia Railways, I said, okay, Zambia Railways, thank God I've been appointed a board member of Zambia Railways. What am I going to do, me, as a person, to make Zambia Railways a better place when I leave? Those are the kind of things at a personal level should be, okay, fine. In 2020, what problems did I go through? Was I struggling with food? Yes. Did I struggle with transport? Yes. What am I doing? Do I have a degree? Have I been to school? Tuition fees, I struggled. What am I going to do to change the strategy so that I can finish school? Because, you know, people say, eye on the ball. People usually accuse others. No, my uncle did this. What? No. Me, I've seen people who have come to my office. I don't know the person, comes to my office, Mr. Ngandu, I've got a problem. I dropped out of school. If you want, pay for me directly to school. All I need is 1.5. Here is school. Please contact the school. I've helped him quietly. And what did that person do? Just simply, just was okay, let me go and see Mr. Ngandu. He comes there, he argues his case. You look at it, you say, okay, fine. But look, I can help this person. But there are also, I've seen also people who have come to my office wasting time. You look at the person, you even say, okay, we're in time waste. You know? First, because even for me, I examine you. I look at you. Okay, tell me. Where do you go? No, my father is there. Okay, so why have you been to? No, I don't talk to my father. I said, okay, fine. Go and sort out your family problems first. Okay, before you can. You know, they say remove your speck from your eye before you can go to others. But what I'm trying to say is I want to encourage young people that as a person, at a personal level, plan yourself. And you know, I was recently listening to Dr. Miles Monroe. He was talking about the importance of planning. He even mentioned to say, you know what, if you don't plan, God can't help you. That's why if you pray, no, please, Jesus, give me money. He can't give you, because if he gives you, it has no plan. In fact, it will be a danger to yourself. Okay, so that's why planning at any level is very important. First of all, I'll tell you, you should be able to say, look, 5 years from now, you should be able to tell me what you want to become. Me, I'll tell you, I'm 48. I'm already planning on my retirement. I said, you know what? When I retire, I still want to be traveling business class. I still want to be going to holidays anywhere in the world. I want to be going there. I have to plan for it. So I have to make investments such that I should be getting a minimum amount every month. Whether I'm sleeping, I'm at the farm, it's going there. There's nothing to stop me. Zambians, you see, A person retires, you've seen, it's a sad story. Why should you retire and you become a destitute? That is the sample. Look, our forefathers have made mistakes. Fine. But what about young people? So you can imagine, I'm 48 years old. I should make sure when I retire, there's a retirement house. Am I building it? Yes, I'm building it. It's almost done. Because I'm planning. Because I want young people like you, when you say, okay, I'm going to see retired engineer Ngandu. When you come at my house, even you even say, okay, this is another level. It cannot be a cambusu, no, it can't. It has to be something which would demonstrate that I used to be EIZ president, I used to be UBA board chairman, I used to be in Zambia Railways, I used to be MD Ngandu Consulting, and I also used to be a very good engineer. So if you come to my house, even you should be able to say, okay, this is an engineer's house. My house cannot be the same for an accountant, no. It can be the same size, okay? But it should be different. When you look at it, it says, look, it looks like an optical illusion. What is it? You know what I'm trying to say? I'm dramatizing, but it should be it should reflect your values. Okay, if you're an accountant, I come to your house, I would even say, we need accountant, worker, sorry. I'm just dramatizing. But all I'm saying is that we should plan ourselves. Me, what I can tell you is that there are levels in life. Getting employed as an employee, there's nothing wrong. But that's the first stage. The last stage in life is self-actualization, where yourself now, you reach that potential where you decide your own fate. Do you know, for me, I decide what time I go to the office. If I don't want to go to the office, I'll just call my secretary. Today, I'll work from home. That's why in my home, there should be office. I've seated now, there's Zoom and all that, it has come up. I'll just say, I'll go to my office. I just go down there, I put in a screen like this, and I'm talking to people at the office. So for me, I want to encourage young people to plan. And you know, they say, plan throughout to the end, then start following it. So you can even say, for example, I'll work for 10 years. But after 10 years, no matter what, I'm stopping, I'll be on my own after 10 years. But within that 10 years, make sure you develop skills. You learn the business, you learn whatever, you interact with so many people, you know the banking sector, how it works and all that. So that when you come back, when you reach 10 years, leave. You know, there is one example that Steve Harvey gave an example. He says, a businessman, it's almost like you jump off the cliff. When you are jumping, you don't care about where you're going. Just know you've got a parachute. So you run on the cliff. You can even close your eyes. Jump off. Okay? Then now start struggling to open the parachute. Do you know why it's like that? Because business is not for faint-hearted. Because somebody will say, what if it doesn't open? Fine. That man has very low risk appetite. But if you want to make it, open the door, jump off the cliff. And most people will tell you, oh, yeah, you know, we are going to bury him. But you know what happens? They just get supplied. Just when you're about to hit the ground, the parachute opens. And now you start soaring. And even the wind comes, it lifts you up. So that you can go and pass through wherever Then you just, and that parachute is, they see now a Range Rover Sport. They see a helicopter, you own it. They see farms. They see you on UBA, you are the board chairman. Okay? How did that guy from Chawama can become a board chairman? How come he's EIZ president? Then they see you driving an Aston Martin. Okay? By the way, that's my favorite car. And I've planned myself, I said, at some point, I will go there. Even ZRI, I will go and pay a check straight. I said, please, Dero the Aston Martin. You get what I'm saying? Okay.
All right.
All right, very informative discussion so far, yes? Yeah, so we're going to be continuing with our special guest engineer, Abel Ngandu, and also be interacting with you, getting your questions, perhaps even contributions as the program gets to continue this evening. But before that, we're just going to take a 5-minute break, just a short break for us to refresh ourselves, maybe drink some water, and then when we get back, we get to continue interacting with our special guests. So in 5 minutes, we'll be back. So that's 19:05. We continue with our conversation this evening. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for sticking around and still being a part of our program this evening with our special guest, engineer Abel Ngandu. So far, a very interesting conversation, a lot to learn. I personally am learning a lot, and I hope you are. But let's also get to pick his brain a little bit more as we get interactive with you. So what we're going to do is going to take maximum of 8 questions because of time. But the good news is to be able to interact with them even as the program comes to an end. So I'll be taking, I think, 2 questions per row. I'll take one on the left, one on the right for the next 8 rows. Was it columns? Is that under engineering school as well? Rows?
Yeah, it's a column. Yeah, these are rows. Yes.
So we'll take 2 questions from each. Any from this here? All right. Your name and your question or contribution.
How are you, sir?
Hello.
My name is Rogers Daka, and have I can say a construction company stroke energy. So it is 4 years old. That's the thing. But my question goes to say, I was reading once when we were starting off, I think it's 2002, somewhere there. In the meeting, there were people that were pushing for you, like the Sondash people, to say, we want young people. And they said, inform the wise guy to say, can you connect to this young man? And I think the story is okay. So my question is this, since now you're retired, in your own personal capacity, how are you passing on the baton to us who are looking up to you? Especially like you mentioned about the finance thing, because the thing that I've seen the challenge is about capital, and you mentioned it. But every time, like I'm speaking, the bank that I'm in, we have tried many times to go there, but always about we can't give you this money because you don't have any building bigger than this thing. So I'm asking now, since you are stepping down, what are the areas that you have left in place that us young people now can say, okay, listen, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, I want to tell you, since you are in construction, you know I'm the current EIZ president. Recently, we appeared before the Parliamentary Accounts Committee. One of the things after analyzing the sector is we realized that there is no construction bank. You know, in China or in all these other places, there's agriculture bank, construction bank, communications bank. Every sector is covered. So in this country, we have realized that Zambians, because we don't have collaterals, and that is the key. You know, in the United States, you don't need a collateral for you to get a loan. Because the government, as long as you've got a good idea, if a collateral was required, then Mark Zuckerberg wouldn't have created Facebook. Because he was just a student, nothing. But look at the way he's billionaire in the last 20 years, is maybe 5th or 7th richest person, in the world. But what I'm saying is, I think the problem we have identified is the environment. Okay, first of all, in Zambia, the risk profile is quite high, okay, because people don't pay. So now there's a lot of emphasis, no, please, let's hold on the collateral. But you know that banks, they don't need collateral in terms of wanting your house. What they want is you to be paid, that's all. So, but as a result, it's not a single bank issue, no. It's a country risk profile. So what we have said is, look, why don't you create a government-funded construction bank, which is funded and it's target, not only construction bank, by the way, because you will not all be contractors, but it can target different sectors, okay? What the government has done, for example, I can tell you, there's this COVID fund. They released COVID fund through Bank of Zambia. And look, it is helping. Zambians are being paid, especially for us in the sector, construction sector. There's some monies which government has released through Bank of Zambia. And I can tell you, we've been getting paid. That one, it has helped. But in the long term, we are just hoping that our proposals that we submitted to government are accepted. But we are very proactive. Every time we meet government, that's the main thing. We said, look, we want to do bigger projects, but you don't have ability. You don't have equipment, but you've got skills. So I think the government, I can tell you, the government is very receptive. Going forward, they are very receptive, they are working on it, and let us see, maybe because of elections and all that, but afterwards, I think it should be able to be resolved.
All right, thank you so much for that answer. By the way, we're also live on the Salona Trust Initiative YouTube channel, so you can get to watch the proceedings there. And invite those on here as well to take a look at what's going on here as far as the entrepreneurship sort of guide is concerned. Moving on to some more questions. And also, by the way, major thanks to Samuel Burris for partnering with us. They provided some stuff which is available, I think, at the entrance. You can have a drink probably after as we get to network this evening. Any question here? None? Right. We can move on to here. Any question, contribution? Maybe I can take it all the way to the back because, oh, we have somebody here. But ladies first, maybe? Yes. Yeah, okay. Does EIZ also allow gentlemen? Are they allowed to participate? He's being a gentleman. So
Which?
maybe that can,
Yes, it's a bit, of course.
right. Your question, your name, and your question or contribution.
Good evening.
Can you hear me? Sorry. I don't know if you can. My name is Professor. I'm about to launch a digital platform that connects people, service providers in the wellness and beauty industry. Mr. Ngandu, you mentioned that sometimes entrepreneurship feels like jumping out of an airplane with no parachute. I can imagine in your many years of business and engineering experience, you've had moments that maybe the parachute didn't open and you crashed. Assuming, or let's just say, have you lost money? Have you lost a project? How did you handle it? How did you recover? And what lessons can you share with us from those experiences? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. Definitely, I've been bruised. You know, there are things where you put in quite a lot of money in tendering. You tender for the works, and I remember one incident where we only had one project. Then we were supposed to submit tenders the following day. Then power went. Then out of maybe lack of planning in the beginning from our part, we said, look, let's go home. The power will come in the morning and we'll manage to bind the document. Now, you know, the following day when we reached, at the office, power came, we started printing fast. Just after 2 hours before, the power went. And we needed to bind 7 documents. And they were quite massive. Then we decided we moved out of the office. We went with a flash to go into now a printing center somewhere where there's power. We went there, again the power went. Then, you know, I'm telling you, we managed to bind the document, but there was only about 15 minutes. Then the tender board at that time used to be in town. So we decided to drive there. When we reached Cafe Roundabout, there was traffic jam there. I remember jumping out of the car now, you know, with the documents, trying to rush to the Zambia National Tender Board. I managed to reach there on the ground floor, and there was a lift. I went with the elevator there. The time I was just reaching there, it was just past 3 minutes. And everyone was there. You know, people just saw me holding that. I pleaded with them. He said, no. Rules are rules. You were supposed to come 14 hours. So we will not accept. You can imagine the frustration. Where we had done, we had spent a lot of money, we went to site, and we really needed that project because we were very experienced. And that project ended up going to a very less experienced company, and we lost. When I came back to the office, it was a sad story. Because in the now coming months, we didn't know even whether we pay workers or not. So there we learned. The second one, we were investing in Rwanda. We invested in Rwanda, we got a project, but we were spending more money than what we are getting from. We made losses, and those losses, for your own information, is not few thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars that we are spending. And at some point we sat down and said, you know what, maybe we should close down the Rwandan office. Another partner told me, I said, you know what, no, I think it's the way we are doing things. We should change our pricing strategy and we should be more proactive and we should support the guy in Rwanda so that we can tender as many jobs as possible. 2 years down the line, we turned around the Rwandan story. Now in Rwanda, we get income from there. It comes there. Even when you don't need, here you are seated, you just say, oh, you just look at ka SMS alert. But where is it, these dollars coming out from Rwanda? That's an invoice for, not even for this month, and for April. So in between, they are still paying. So what I'm trying to say is that we've also gone through bank. I mean, we've borrowed from the bank, by the way. Banks have threatened. I remember one time, Berifs came, wanting to bounce. And you know, Zambians were scared of Berifs. So no, they're going to see that no better than able happen. But you know what? When the Berifs came, you meet them. They are human beings. Guys, we have delayed. Give us just 1 month. After 1 month, you can come and grab these things. They said, no, we are going to get about 5 cars. We'll pack them. Then after 1 month, you will tell us. If not, we'll sell them. And you know, they got the cars. Unfortunately, they were looking for my cars. Says, no, this Jaguar is neo to that no, this is not Ngandu Consulting. This is in Abel Ngandu's name. So if you take all the property from Ngandu Consulting, then you come to me now. But for now, get the company vehicles. And that's how they got. But fortunately, within a month, we managed to raise the money, we paid, we came back. All those things are the, what you call parachute failing to come out. You try, you bruise yourself, but you know, when the parachute comes out, I can tell you it's nice. Money is nice. I'll tell you, first of all, one thing we should hate as human beings is poverty. Me, I don't know about you guys. I hate poverty. I know I've been through it. I stayed in Chawama. I know it. I know what it means to eat kapenta, repu, and whatever without cooking oil. I know it. So for me, even up to now, I don't like poverty. When somebody is enjoying, there are some people who like celebrating poverty. I tell him, I said, no, not me. There is no way in Krasta can talk chipaka. You are pretending. Work for it so that you can buy. You can also take mineral water. You can imagine, now I can afford mineral water because I've worked hard. But there are people right now who have to take water, they have to boil. Even to boil, they don't have charcoal to do that. They don't even have matches. I've been through that. So for me, I think as a person, we should reject poverty at personal level. Don't blame other people. No, sort out your poverty. Take out yourself. When you see somebody driving a nice car, you know what? Get inspired. You see somebody who has built, don't say, no, he's a devil worshipper. Stop that nonsense. Because you see, that's what has brought a lot of problems to our country. A Zambian is rich, he says, no, he's a bad person. That's why for me, I said, you know what? Let me work hard. That's why I worked hard, I became president of Association of Consulting Engineers. I worked hard, I became president of EIZ. I worked hard, I became board chairman UBA, an international bank. Why? Because I knew that there's no other way, it's just through hard work. And when you're a board chairman, you think they fly you in economy? No. I've been to Singapore under UBA. I've been lectured by McKinsey, Boston Consulting, BCG, and all that. Some of the top consulting firms in the world, which I never thought a Chawama boy can attend. But I've been exposed to that. They tell you, where do you come? They say, Chawama. You're in Singapore. And in Singapore, at what hotel? Marina Bay Sands Hotel. One of the 7-star hotels in Asia. You are there, a guy from Chawama. So please just know that my sister there, just know you get bruised. But you know what? Be focused. And I can tell you, you're going to make it in life. And you know, also hang out with such platform where you are encouraged. Me, what I used to do in my beginning, when I see a friend of mine who is discouraging me from getting rich, I'll cut him off. When he tells me, I say, look, my friend, take the poverty away. Don't bring me that negative energy. I don't want it. And when I'm listening, even on TV, even now, even on internet, I just look at rich people, in Oprah, books, I read motivational books. I look at people who have genuinely acquired wealth. In Mark Zuckerberg, Apple, you know, I went to Silicon Valley to go and see the Apple headquarters. You just see the building. Then you say, this is a manifestation of Steve Jobs. You look at the building, you say, a human being conceptualized this. Then you come to Zambia, they tell you, wake up in the morning, and you fail to wake up. Yes.
All right, so a question again.
Good evening, Mr. Abel. My name is Abel Ngandu. I'm working for Intermission. So my question was, you talking about your phase one. You know our career is quite broad. The civil engineering career is quite broad. How do you pick what to settle in? Or how do you pick what you're good at? Do you get my question?
Yes.
Yeah, do you try jump in different companies to experience different things, or like in your case you stuck to consultants? How do you determine that?
Okay. First of all, I was an employee for 4 years. When I was an employee for 4 years, I didn't mind because I was learning. So I was taken to the drawing office. I drew, by the way, I started drawing from graph papers as an engineer. I can design using graph papers. Then I started using AutoCAD, okay, automated design and all that. Then I started using highway civil engineering, geometrical design softwares. Then I was exposed to pavement engineering. Then I was exposed to structural engineering. Okay, then I went to sites. I started supervising works. I started knowing about quality control. Then I started knowing about project management. Then I started knowing about contract management. Then I started knowing how to tender and all that. So I went through everything, but you know what? I had a personal agenda. I said, you know what? I have to learn this thing because at some point I want to run my business. Now, why do I say phase one, phase two, and all that? When I realized, I said I needed to form my own company. I said, first of all, I should start with what I'm good at. Because, don't start with something you're not good at. Start with something which you've got a passion about. I'm very good in engineering. I'm a very good designer. I'm a critic. I talk. I read a lot of books. And remember, I got distinction from the university. So I'm not a law student. No, I'm one of the top students there. I even got an award in India. So I know what I'm talking about. But now, coming to when I identified consultants, that's not the end in itself. The end, for example, the vision we have for Ngandu Consulting is to be an EPC company. Engineering, procurement, construction, everything under one roof. Meaning, we should have the intellectual side, which is consultants. Meaning we should be able to design anything. Then after we design, we should be able to build it. Using, again, our resources, we should have the equipment and whatever, things like that. Then if we don't have any other services, we should be able to procure from outside. So in simple terms, we should be a one-stop shop for construction. If you want to participate in the mines, they don't like consultants separate no, they like EPC. Because the owners of the mines, they find money, they say, we've got $1 billion, we want to mine. So they want you to go to site, conceptualize everything, design, and also set up the mine for them. And also even run it for them. That's what they want. That's why you see the biggest engineering companies in the world, they are billionaires, the owners. So for us, we end up just as consultants. No, that's not what we want to. As Ngandu Consult, we want to grow bigger. That's why we formed another company called ALG, and we have acquired equipment. But what we want to do now is to develop the skills to target the best brains around so that we can have now consultancy, we can have construction, we can have even material production so that we're a one-stop shop. In fact, going further, we want to make sure we list our company on Lusaka Stock Exchange so that Zambians can also own it. You see, what we don't do in this country, we think you can do business alone. No. If you look at Apple maybe has got even 80 million shareholders. You know that? If you look at Mark Zuckerberg, maybe he's got only 10% shares. But the 10% is 60, 70, $80 billion. So the way we do business in this country, we say, oh, no, you start a business in the bedroom with your family and whatever, then that's it, you hold on to it. He says, I don't want anybody because wala nkopela. No. A genuine businessman, you grow, you bring in partners. If I see that I'm weak in structures, I tell him, can I co-opt you? I'll give you 10%. You know, 10% of a bigger thing is much more than 80% of this what? So a lot of Zambians, they think, no, first they want to hide business. Why should you hide your business? Your business should be a public thing. You should even market it, what you do. It's what you do that matters. So I think you work for WHO. You know, that's a very big company in South Africa. And by the way, that's one of the companies I look up to. You know, I look at Group 5, I look at Stefanu Stocks, and a lot of big companies in South Africa. Because what we want to create is a company which can create billionaires. You know, this thing of where you are making a 10 penny, 20 penny, what, no, that's not money. In fact, when you see a person that he gets broke because he bought beers, didn't take what rupee. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that we want money. When you make money, I'm telling you, even people don't know, even yourself, you don't know where you use it. Such that you even create now corporate social responsibility. You start donating. That's why even a Bill Gates, that money is too massive that it doesn't belong to them anymore. Imagine he has given $45 billion to charity, but he's still the second richest man in the world. So that's the kind of culture we should build in Zambia. And for me, I accepted to come in here because I'll tell you, such platforms, we should be encouraging young people. I don't want young people. He makes 100,000. He starts making noise. You drive Kavits, you are making noise. No, this is my car. Even on face, please. Take your Vitz away. Tell us your dreams. Okay, you say, okay, I'm using a Vitz, but I'm targeting this. Okay? We want people to own not one filling station. No. We should be having Zambians, they own 200 filling stations in the country. A Zambian owns 500 hotels. Those are the kind of things. You know, not where you take out a 10 pin, you are making noise. Okay? We want true, and why am I encouraging you this? I want to encourage you to dare to make it happen. My young man here was talking about, you know what? Go to the banks. Do you know there was a time we wanted the 5 million, 5 billion at that time. They wanted to grab equipment. The owner of the equipment came to us, even brought trucks to come and transport. I remember I was in Tanzania. I flew back to Zambia. I went straight to FNB. I argued my case. I said, I want 5 billion kwacha today. Those guys said, Abel, if you don't get that money tomorrow, it's not going to happen. And it was just because of delays. I went to FNB, whatever, I spoke to them. Then I documented all the paperwork. I know how to do business. I mean, the paperwork, you should be knowledgeable by the way, on how you put up documents for the bank. I went there, I said, okay, fine. We'll call you for the meeting in the afternoon. I argued my case. They said, okay, fine, Mr. Nadu, give us up to tomorrow morning. In the night, I think 19 hours, I got a call. Mr. Nadu, we have approved 5 billion. So that you can pay off for what you call to that. And you'll be paying us, the payment, you'll be paying at 500,000 kwacha a month. I said, no problem. Went there in the morning, I just saw on the phone, it popped. Tuma zero, so two ingi. I even called that guy. I said, what is your account number? Can you take back your trucks? This is a Zambian businessman. I've just obtained, I got. That person, in fact, is South African. He was so surprised at that time. He says, you mean you could apply you? You are that capable of, because you know, it's you, it's about you. We went and presented a correct case with FNB, and they helped us. Have we paid? Yes, we paid off. We were paying 500,000 kwacha. At that time, 500 million kwacha every month. But you've got people you find 3 pin a month. He even blocks the bank, you know, in the States, the 500. You get the point. So it takes, what am I saying, sir? You have to be a serious person. I remember there was a time where I would tell even my wife, I said, you know what? That trip you wanted to make, next month, we're not going to have it. We want to contribute so that 500,000 equal. Ku company equated for 350. So we have to take our personal monies I remember she was upset. What is this? Now, you, every time you are sacrificing, I said, don't worry. So after we paid off, when she started driving a Range Rover Sport, she said, you see what I told you? I said, this is a sacrifice, so you enjoy it. That's why I want my children, even when they go to international schools, I'm very proud because I sacrificed. So it's not easy, and it's not for faint-hearted. And I like, another place I like, I always tell that Ali there at the back. When you come, this quorum, it's membership-based. You come in here alone, you come, oh, I want to see Mr. Ngandu. They will tell you, excuse me, are you a member? No. Have you been invited by Mr. Ngandu? No. No, sorry, this is for membership. Oh, you want to become a member? Go and pay. $300 a month or something, pay. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Because when you come like that, you should be able, when they refuse, you should be able to go back. It says, first of all, what does it take? Well, yeah, $300 you don't say. Is a devil worshiper, mufulo, or whatever? Please excuse me. There are people who are members here, they are staying here. You get what I'm saying? But it should flip the other side. You should be able to say, you know what? 2 years from now, I'm also going to be a member of the quorum.
All right, before we conclude, any more questions? Okay. Seeing 3 hands, we can wrap up with 3. Okay, that's fine. Your name and your question.
My name is Michael Manali from Data Banking. I have a question to Engineer Abel Ngandu. When you look at business, there is also the side of managing risk. I would like to find out what your advice would be in risk management. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, when you are running a business, there's always a time you want to expand or you want to maintain where you are. You should make sure, for example, the time you want to expand, don't put all the eggs in one basket. Maybe take 50% or whatever, you put it there, you try out, so that you can mitigate your risks. And at the same time, again, risks comes because of your lack of knowledge of something. If you know it very clearly, you can even say, no, I'll put money here because I know it will come. But if you don't know it, then you have to mitigate it. The other issue that you have to avoid is concentrated risk. For example, having one client. Like, that's the biggest problem in the construction sector that we have. The client is RDA or Ministry of Local Government. But for us, at some point, we had Ministry of Transport, another client. We had Ministry of Local Government, then we had Rwanda. That's how you spread risks. But you should not be scared to expand. Because I'll tell you, there's a saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you don't take a risk, you can't make a profit. That's a fact. And that's how God has created. He has created where there is a parachute, you have to jump out. And for me, I think that's very fundamental. So it means people who take risks are not everyone. Others, they will just go there, they see how this is, no, I can't. And those ones, they will remain workers. It's okay. But if you want to drive Aston Martin, you want to own a private jet, then you have to be extraordinary. That's why you see billionaires, they are crazy people. They are not, you get the point, they are out of this world. Because they are daring. Look at Elon Musk. Look at just 5 days ago, there was that ship that he took it. It came, it exploded. But do you know, even rocket scientists, NASA scientists, they said they have never seen anything like that. And maybe he spent even $400 million. It was bent. But do you know when they asked Elon Musk, said, it's okay, we've learned. In fact, we've collected a lot of data. Look at that, $400 million. If it's in this country, no, it could have gone to the hospital, see whatever, the usual. Yeah, it could have gone to whatever school children, books, please, excuse me. Some money must be bent like that for you to be able to grow. So,
all right, let's go ahead and somewhere here.
I thought the lady.
So she's going last.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My name is Kandwani Kampeni. I wanted to just find out, how do you manage on various boards, you're conducting many businesses? How do you manage to balance your social life and your family and everything at the same time?
It's what I've done with family is that because I know that I get busy, so every year, twice a year, I make sure I take my family for a holiday. So usually, if I'm not going far away, I would go maybe in South Africa, I'll go to Cape Town and all that. If not, I'll do it within the country. Even now, I said, okay, because of COVID, definitely I'll go somewhere. Maybe South Rwangwa, what I must make sure that my family should enjoy. Okay? So I always do that. But at the end of the year, again, first week of January, usually I don't go during Christmas, I go after January. I take them out of the country. Like this year, we had planned, actually, we bought all the tickets and everything. We were supposed to go to the States. But COVID came. We should have gone by August because my kids they go to international school, so they close around August. That's the longest there. So we were planning, but because of COVID, we couldn't go. But I make sure that at least I allocate about a month in a year to be with my family. So I go for about 2 weeks. I'm with them, my kids, my children, my wife, just us alone, to make sure they can also have time with dad. Over the weekends, I also, I always go, I take them out for a restaurant. My youngest son likes sushi, by the way. So we call him Mr. Sushi Man. So we go and do that kind of stuff. So I do balance. Now coming to these others, again, you have to schedule. That's why, look, I'm happy that I'm retiring from UBA because so that I can reduce on my opportunity, but I know more opportunities will come. But I'll tell you, you can't make money if you're not busy. Zambians they like free things. The guy has done nothing, but you think you can make money. No. Me, I can tell you, if you want to have in your bank account a minimum of 1 million kwacha or 2 million kwacha, you have in your personal account. I'm not talking about what do you call, forget about company account. I'm talking about personal account. You want to check there's 10 million kwacha, 2, 3 million kwacha. You have to work very hard. You can imagine, look at this quorum. Look at how sophisticated this place is. It's not cheap money which has come in here. So if they start making money, they're making money, then you see they are billionaires. Can you be surprised? No, because look at the amount of investment which has gone in. So me, I can encourage you that to be very busy, okay, to make money, you have to be very busy. For me, I went to EIZ because I want to contribute something. I also want to learn. It's also building me up in leadership. I go to Zambia Railways. It's building me up. I go to UBA. Look at the amount of experience I've obtained from UBA. I was an engineer. I'm an engineer. Now I know how to run a bank. Can you imagine? I was the board chairman. So I know I chaired meetings. I did everything and whatever. Look at the amount of experience that I've obtained. And who appointed me? The billionaire, Ton Elumelo. I know him personally, he's my friend. Okay? If I call him, I can call him, hi Tony, this is Abel. And you call me, you tell me, my chairman from Zambia, how are you? You get the point? Look at having guts. A Chawama boy. I'm able to call Tony. Tony, hi, our group chairman, how are you, sir? He says, I'm okay, how are you? So I'm so grateful to UBA and to Tony personally for having identified me and appointing me to lead UBA Zambia. So it's something that I'm very, very proud of. And I can tell you, it is a foundation for me. Thank you.
All right. These are questions keep popping up. Before we take on our last question from the back, you can ask yours.
Okay, so my name is Asampa Salome Mwansa-Chilamboy. Okay, my name is Asampa Salome Mwansa-Chilamboy, and we actually have something in common. We both, I worked at UBA, funds from retail to corporate. And UBA taught me to be aggressive. So that's why a lot of people get, why are you so aggressive? I said, I don't know how to do anything else. So for me, it's identifying and saying also, thank you for providing this opportunity. I've been wanting to meet you, and they said, perfect. And they didn't know, and I said, no, I'm going to make my presence felt because I want you to remember me.
Yes, no, thank
So
you.
again, my name is Asamka Salome Mwansachila.
Sam,
When you
yes.
see my name somewhere.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Well
So my question is, what I do is I run an NGO called the Salome Trust Initiative. I provide women from lesser backgrounds with financial literacy and financial resources as well. I've given out over 350,000 kwacha in Baoleni and Chilenja, and we're moving into Nevada as well. And also, I run various village banking groups, of which they're always successful. Some people are actually in the audience here, and I've done share-out successfully. Because you know, you hear a lot of horror stories saying, no, we didn't get share-out. I've done share-out successfully for 3 consecutive cycles. And that's a big feat in Zambia, especially with these horror stories that we're hearing. So for me, my thing is just to say, how did you deal with ageism? Because I've got women who belong to my village banking group who are 50, 60-year-olds, all the way from a 21-year-old to a 60-year-old, and they say, we know, I'm a grandmother, you can't be forcing me to pay back my loan. And I said, me, I look at your name and your NRC number. I don't look at your age. So people say, oh no, you're rude. And I said, I'm not rude, I'm just following up. So I want to find out how you dealt with ageism, especially as you said you had started your organization when you were 31, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. First of all, well done. By the way, I'm inspired by the story that you've just told me. And I'm also happy that you worked for UBA. And it is true, you know, Nigerians by nature, they are very aggressive. I mean, that's why they are very successful. So it's a good thing that you took that kind of character from them. Now, I want to tell you, you know, when I was young, I mean, when I started my business at the age of 31, first, old people tend to challenge you. They, first of all, they want to tell you, in the Zambian culture, we don't do things, or Nangwalipa Masana, you know, things like that. But for me, what I told them, I said, you know what? Look, if you want to be successful, first of all, you have to be different. Me, the people who know me personally, they will tell you one characteristic about me. I tell you the way it is. I don't beat about the bush, whether you are old, you are 70, 80 years. Yes, I'll call you mister. I'll even call you Ba. I'm done. I sent Twikari up first. What about that issue that you have done? Can you be accountable? And that's my nature. I think you've seen, I'm the current EIZ president. Already, I think you saw EIZ has been on the news. Okay, for the bridge at Ali Kinkata, for Society House, because me, that's my nature. And people who knew me, they even know, this guy is going to confront issues directly. And the reason why I act independently now is because I'm financially independent. I have nothing to lose, okay? I've got everything that is required for me personally. No one can compromise me, no, because I know what I want in life. So even when the president says, can you EIZ start acting on your members who are undermining the sector? I said, Your Excellency, you will see change. I went to State House and I said it. You're going to see change in EIZ. And I'm happy we have been trending in the news on the positive note. So my sister, me, I can tell you, when you are rising business, people will stop you. There are even my personal friends who told me, no, Abel, you won't make it. I told them, I said, that's your problem. Take away your negative energy, stay away from me. When I deal with the old people, I just deal with them professionally. If they have borrowed money from me, I'll just call him, can you come here? You're an old person, you know the importance of returning other people's money. Because you have to set the record straight. Because you know, I'll tell you, this thing of saying, let's leave this. It doesn't pay. So if you have to be rich in this country, you have to stand out. You have to be very different. That's why even me, even in EIZ, they know me. I provide the leadership. I come out straight. If there are issues in EIZ, I tell our engineers, we've got problems. And one of the things which we want to introduce in EIZ, for your information, is minimum rates for our members. Because you see, we have plumbers, electricians, we have everyone. We said, look, anybody can hire a plumber and a bricklayer. You pay them anything. And if they are very skilled, I said, no, let's wipe out poverty from EIZ. We are going to come up with minimum rates, which will be gazetted for under a statutory instrument. So when we put up minimum rates, we shall be publishing in the newspaper that any bricklayer who is registered with EIZ or electrician, this is his rate per day. You can't pay him below that, you can't. But if he messes up your electrical wiring system and your house gets bent, bring him to EIZ. We shall take him over, disciplining, we'll take him to court until he's jailed even 10 years. Because you know the reason we want to uplift the standards. And we'll make sure as EIZ to make sure that our members, they perform to highest expectation. So that is why we are coming up. So for me, when I came in, I said, you know, poverty is too much in EIZ. We are not going to allow people to be abusing our members, no. We are going to come up with a statutory instrument, and the government has supported it. So right now, we have appointed a committee who are doing it. Why? Because we want this type of attitude. I mean, she's running an NGO. We want women like this. Look, there's Oxfam International. That's an NGO. Okay? There are all these things. You know, they were started by people. But they are huge. We want to have Salome, is it Salome? Trust. We want it to be international on CNN. They even, you see, what you call Tony Elumelu Foundation. It's on CNN, it's advertised on CNN. That's what we want to see for Zambians. And for me, I'm telling you, I'm a very strong supporter of women. We should be seeing very powerful women in this country. There is Monica Musonda. You know, she's a very successful, also entrepreneur. We want to see more, but me, I want to see even more young people. And you know, look, I just don't want to see just stories to say somebody's explaining. No. We want to see when we see Sampa, I should be able to say, what car is that? That Lamborghini, where is it in Sampa? You get the point? We just don't want to hear stories. We want to see success. When we come in here, we just say, do you know the shareholders in that quorum? It's Sampa. There are two guys. There are one lady and a guy. In fact, Sampa is the 70% shareholder in the quorum. That is the kind of story we want to hear. For me, I don't like to say, I'm successful, I have nothing to show for. Then what is that? My story is that. Okay? That's why even me personally, I drive good cars also. When the Jaguar XJ Super Sport came out, I bought a Jaguar XJ Super Sport. When I see British Prime Minister being driven in a Jaguar, I said, I need it in the hand. That is true. Because otherwise, how can you say you've got money, you can't show it? Yeah. So who is going to eat it? Car administrator. Okay.
Let's take our last question. We'll have to stop with that here. Give us a name and your question.
Good evening, engineer.
Good evening.
My name is Professor Mba. Great to meet you in person, definitely. I think I came to know about you. I think you had some court issues and you were putting your name in the mud.
Yes.
And I started following and reading about you. But I think what amazed me was your critical thinking. And your mind goes in the world. Because I read quite a lot of other things about you. So I ran an institution for 10 years. Then I stepped down and my wife is now running it. But one of the things that I realized that I missed some of your presentation, but I could relate because I've read about you. When there was growth, like when there was growth came with a lot of responsibility. So my first question is that how did you handle it, especially that your level of growth has got also international characteristics, and you're managing different professions, different backgrounds from academic, cultural, and personalities. So how did you manage? The other question is, Zambian human resource is quite some of the most arrogant human resource you can have as an entrepreneur locally. If they have a degree, they think they're better than you. and they don't understand. The average, they think they are invisible. How have you managed to manage the human resource that is homegrown? Because for me, that has been my experience. I've had personal friends who have come to work. They see a contract, they think, what can I forget here? Why do they have a salary, right? So how have you managed to handle that kind of thing? The last thought is, I always hear, especially that's direct in your sector. I'm not personally from a professional. I always hear people talk, oh, he contract you who? A Zambian, this school will be we don't really know number, you know? Then you start thinking and sit down. And personally, for me, when I'm on a plane, I really start saying, this is a functional human being who created the plane. Imagine just being on the plane, and it's in the space, you get off and you land, yeah? So that kind of thinking and saying, I want to and then you fly and you land and you do that kind of mind. Then I start saying, when do Zambians do really, really big things? And why do you think that we have that kind of limitation, comparative, that you have done it and you have gone outside? A Zambian, when you're telling them that I want to, right? And you say, I think 5 years from now, you should
that's exactly. I hear you, and I totally agree with you. No, thank you. First of all, one of the things I've seen which has helped me maybe handle my progression is being humble. You know, when you find me, most of the time, I rarely wear maybe jackets. Yeah, I also look smart. You know, sometimes, you know, you have to look. Yes, I do dress smartly and what, but once in a while. But mostly, I put on a jeans because I'm an engineer. Jeans, a t-shirt, a polo t-shirt, and all that. So most of the people, when they see me, they don't even recognize me. Sometimes they will tell, when they say, oh, his ear is it? Is it him? You know, things like that. So, I mean, I think my humbleness has also helped me. But again, my growth, you know, I've had challenges. You know, I've met people, academia, professors, all that, you know, when you're rising. They do challenge you. But you know what's important is to believe in yourself. So when somebody challenges you, stand up to them. Not arrogant, not what, but just put your case. I've had a situation where maybe a professor troubles me. I would go to his office. Sir, that criticism that I did for you is because of A, B, C, D. As Zambians, this is not right. You're a professor, you're supposed to have these A, B, C, D values. And once I argue my case, over time, you find that professor becomes my friend. I've had challenges from my own best friends, I mean, good friends, very close to me, who never wanted to accept. They would say, no, look, I'm paying for 6 months. Chapwa. So this time I remind them, that's 6 months, 20 years ago. And they have become my good friends. Okay? Coming to human resource of Zambia, it's true. Zambian workers are lazy. Ngawapoka kufika degree, when you get a degree, Baisa, Nishi, they have arrived. And they want to get 40,000 kwacha salary. Okay? They want to drive a Mercedes-Benz. Same day, the person graduated from Unilas or from University of Zambia just about 6 months ago. He comes in, knows nothing. But what we normally do in our firm, you know, engineering is quite unique. For us, you know, experience is very important. So when somebody comes from University of Zambia, so how much salary should we give you? No, I want 25,000 kwacha. Says, okay, I'll give you 25,000 kwacha. Let me take you to a project. You're going to be in charge of quality control of the laboratory. All the testing results which are being done on the road, you'll be in charge. Here are the keys, do it. I even tell those technicians, say, don't tell him anything, let him be guiding you. So give me a quality control plan for the site, then come back. Then when he goes there, Elo Aluvana first. So he goes there, he finds that things that you use are more sophisticated than what is in the, you know, the software he will use, he doesn't know them, he doesn't even know the way things work. Then he realizes now, technicians who are just grade 12, but they've got experience, they've got maybe 19 years experience, They are the ones who start teaching him now. A graduate, eh? No, boss, we don't test soil. Like, no, that is wrong. This is online. This is the equipment which is, then he starts learning. So for us in engineering, it's very easy. We just tell the guy, says, excuse me, you are just from school. You know nothing. Come here, you learn for 1 year. When you learn for 1 year, that's when. And when he starts learning, he will come back to me. He says, yeah, boss, you taught me. I knew nothing. So in engineering, it's either you know or you don't. There's no way halfway, no, there's nothing. You know, you can either know how to, what can I say, do this ceiling board straight, or you don't. There's nothing, you cannot pretend. That's what I like about engineering. These other courses, no. But in engineering, I'll just tell you, which formula did you use to calculate this slope? And what basis? Did you use laminar flow or turbulent flow? What? At what? No, do you know, because in Gamule Pianga, you know, the flow of, then there's no way he can. If he hasn't used that, no, please, can you learn? Then the other thing about engineering excellence in terms of when are we going to get Zambians to make a plan and all that? First of all, you know, there's a lot of, I think, there's a lot of lack of information about what Zambians do. We've got a lot of Zambians, by the way, who work out there. There's a lady, for example, I can tell you, she was a lecturer at University of Copperbelt University. She started the School of Aeronautical Engineering there. Her name is Kaneo Muina. She was in the Air Force. Right now, she's doing PhD. She's in Britain. She's in the UK. She's doing a research, which is being even corroborated by Rolls-Royce, you know, Airbus, researchers on the plane, PhD researchers. And you know, they're even saying, no, look, when you finish, come and work for Airbus or even Rolls-Royce. So there's a lot of Zambians who are doing work there. But our attitude, I'll tell you, in this country, do we need attitude change? Yes. Are we people who are scared of success? Yes. Do Zambians celebrate poverty? Yes. Anything, any person, if you have experience, she can tell you, any person who has succeeded a bit has met resistance. She has been called names. If it's a lady, she looks nice, no level. Or we whatever, this, you know, we can't have that negative energy. In the US, models are celebrated. Somebody does Miss Universe, no Maulefi. Excuse me. There's been a Tyra Banks. Then when a Cindy Crawford. Okay? Then Naomi Campbell. They are multi-millionaires in beauty. Okay? But here, Miss Universe, you want to attack them. So for me, what I can just tell you is that I think one of the things I set out, I said, as my corporate social responsibility, under EIZ, I'll tell my story. I'll influence them. I tell them, I said, I want you to make money, but please strive for excellence. You should not accept to be paid handouts. Me, I'll tell you, you can't come to me and say, Mr. Ngandu, can you come and supervise my house? The first thing I'll tell you, how much is your house? For you to want me to supervise, I can supervise your house, but how much is it? What's your budget? Then you come to me and says 1 million. 1 million what? 1 million kwacha. Okay, divide by 21 kwacha. How much is that? I'll tell you, for me, to say, before we supervise, if you want to hire engineer Abel Ngandu to supervise engineering works, the minimum value of your project should be $1 million. So that my consultant's fees are about 10 to 20%, like $200,000. Then I'll come and supervise it. Then you take out you take out my time. That's the cost of my time. If you come, I'll tell you, no, I'm too experienced, I'm too expensive. Go and get somebody who can supervise those works. Do you know why? Because I've set a standard. So the kind of jobs we are involved in, minimum, it has to be $1 million. Otherwise, no. Please, Kabieni Kulivampi. Why? Because I've stood. Do we get clients? Yes, we get. Do we have a lot of projects? Yes, we have a lot of projects. And I'm just talking about minimum. But we are supervising one project is 1 billion kwacha. And who is the supervisor? Ngandu Consulting. We had projects in the past. One project maybe $150 million. We have supervised them, we have completed them. In Rwanda, we are supervising multi-million-dollar projects because we have set a standard, and we also have set our skills levels, they're very high. Because if you don't do that, you know what will happen? Mukayasanga bangantu bali supervise kanganda kuchawama. It can't happen. Me, I've already said, I said, when I go back to Chawama, I have to contribute to my community, build up something there to make Chawama a better place. Thank you very much.
All right, this is the last question from me to you, obviously to do with what is next. You've spoken about giving back to your community, and you've spoken about retirement, and I think you're a very well-spoken man. Are there any plans of any political ambition?
Yeah, I can't rule out. You know, I've been wanting to stand as an MP. I've tried, but when the opportunity comes, definitely I want to stand as an MP. You know, because when you are running for something, you have to start at community level. So I grew up in Chawama, and I've developed that interest for Chawama myself. But you know what? You have to get advice from the political players to make sure you come in at the right time. But for me, timing is everything. So when the time is right, and I consult senior political players who have been politicians and all that, then definitely. But I will not leave, I can't rule out any political ambitions, yes.
All right, once again, thank you so much for speaking with us this evening. Last round of applause for our special guest. We hope you have learned a lot from tonight, and he's going to be sticking around just for you to interact with him, just for you to network. That's another idea of this event, why we hold it every month. It's an opportunity for us to get to know each other, get to know what we do and how we can help each other as well in the future. We've heard of different individuals and where they're coming from, so it's a perfect time for us to get to network and know each other more. That's it for our event. Thank you as well for coming through. Major thanks to Digital Events for putting this event out together. It's the Only Trust Initiative, where we have it live on their YouTube channel. Zambian Birds as well for coming on board. Once again, you for being here. My name is Chumeka Chineshe. You can also get to tune into Diamond TV every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. I do the Diamond Breakfast Show, and I also host the show on Radio Phoenix from 18 hours to 21 hours, called Tonight Live. So you can tune in and we can get to interact with there. Thank you so much. Have a good night.